I decided to look into it, but obviously I've shared a similar fear that most people share. It is, how can I trust them? How do I know which is the right ones? What happens if they don't deliver? And all of these fears start hitting you, and you kind of put you back into shit. I should just do it myself.
Welcome to Marketing with Vino, the edutainment business growth podcast, mixing education and entertainment to make growing your service business much more fun. Your hosts, Quinton Venter, online marketing expert, and Gabby Kowalski, creator of the Business Freedom Formula, have a glass of wine and share powerful and up-to-date strategies to help grow your service business fast.
Hey guys, Quinton here from Marketing with Vino, and you are tuning in to episode 11. Joining us is the beautiful Gabs.
Hello, gorgeous people. It's legs 11.
It is 1-1. We have made it. We have officially hit double digits. I think that says something about us that's worth celebrating. Cheers to you. Ching ching.
Ching ching. Cheers to you too. It says we like to drink wine and we really like to talk. That's what it says.
It does. It was just before we started recording this. I put a post up on Facebook saying T-minus 5 minutes. Gabby, check. Wine, check. Fun and business, check. Have a great afternoon, guys. We're about to have some fun here.
Love it.
And so...
It's funny because Quinton and I get super excited about this. Like literally yesterday we're sending each other messages going, that's it, tomorrow it's the day, and counting down. So we get super excited to do this for you. Like it's just, and we're getting awesome feedback, and it's just so cool. Like to me, makes my heart sing that we actually get to make an impact, help you grow your business and reach so many of you that I may never get to speak to. So thanks for tuning in, and a big hello.
Yeah, thank you guys. You guys are the vehicle. We love it. So let's dive into it. Like you guys know, our conversations aren't really scripted. It is everything just flowing in the motion. But we've got this.
That's not true. They're fully scripted.
We just read lines for lines and insert laugh here.
That's right.
And one of the interesting topics is that we want to talk about is recruitment and growing your team, fulfilling your mission, getting people on board. And we touched base on it with previous episodes with starting your why, but I think we're moving forward to now getting other people in on your why and why that is important, and eventually what impact can you make with others helping you get there.
That's the thing, ultimately if you want to really create impact, meaning making a difference, you want a rocking life for yourself where you've got cash flow and time, it can't just be on you. You need to build an epic team. And so for me, I work with businesses that churn and burn through staff. And it's a big problem because you put all this time and effort to train someone up. And if they leave shortly after they're awesome and you're back in retraining, redoing the do, it's tiring. It's not the dream. It's definitely not, how you want to create your epic freedom business, your epic business. So today we're going to tell you some really cool things, tips on who to hire, how to hire, what to do, some of the ins and outs to make sure that your team just friggin' loves working with you, that even if they got offered a higher salary or an opportunity somewhere else, they're highly unlikely to leave because being with you in your business means more to them than just the money that they make from it.
Yeah.
So give us some gold, Quinton.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So this all comes from as I've started growing the agency. So when I started, I was a one-man show, and I had to do everything. I had to wear all of the hats that we've spoken about in previous episodes, and that's draining. And however, as a one-man show, you keep pushing through it, and I was up late nights and making sure that these areas are done and that is done. And servicing clients was my number one priority. I couldn't really focus too much on sales and client acquisition or marketing. And the funny thing was, I was helping clients with their marketing, but I wasn't even doing marketing myself. So it was just this whole crazy thing going on. Until I basically reached a point where it was, I'm reaching a threshold here where I'm constantly just stuck in first gear. I'm not making any progress. And if you think of it, we're heading onto a highway now. So we've got that on-ramp, that piece of road that just gets you up to speed to the highway. I was stuck on that in first gear, and you don't get very far in first gear on the highway.
No.
People beep at you, and it's horrible. Like, you piss people off.
You piss people off. You know what, though? At least you weren't broken down. You know, it could be worse. It could always be worse.
Yeah, 100%. Call NRMA. Yeah, so it was frustrating because as we get on this highway and there's just people overtaking you and you're dropping the ball because you can't keep up, and clients start suffering, and I'm feeling shit because I can't deliver up to the promise, and it was this downhill spiral. So I thought something had to change, but how and what is the next step? So I'm sure most of you have also heard about outsourcing your admin work and outsourcing the minor things that you don't like doing to the Philippines or to India or to a third world country where they will do it for you at a much cheaper rate and oftentimes better as well. So I decided to look into it, but obviously I've shared a similar fear that most people share. It is, how can I trust them? How do I know which is the right ones? What happens if they don't deliver? And all of these fears start hitting you, and it kind of puts you back into shit. I should just do it myself, or maybe I should get someone here in Australia to help me with it. But then you obviously think about, cool, if I get someone here, then there's a minimum wage, and there's taxes, and there's this, and there's that, and I can't afford that right now. And just paying someone in Australia to do a website for you will cost you an arm and a leg if you don't know who to talk to. And oftentimes they even outsource it to the Philippines anyway. So it really just comes down to you having trust and confidence in yourself, and also having the right systems in place to bring these people up so that they can follow and get consistency.
And look, for anyone listening that has not heard of virtual assistants or outsourcing before, completely cool. Basically, what's going on in the world right now is that there's some really highly skilled people around this planet that like, you know, we're talking skilled and educated to the bejesus, but in their countries, because they're overpopulated, you know, getting work is not that easy. So for them, you know, they've literally made themselves available to the rest of the world to work virtually. So they're a part of your staff, but they're virtual, you know, meaning that they work over there. You'll have meetings via Skype or whatnot with them, tell them what to do, and everyone's happy. The benefit to us is obviously our costs a lot less, because to hire the same equivalent in person in, say, Australia, or depending on wherever you're living in the world, you know, we pay a lot more. So for them, we pay them what we consider to be quite a low wage, and they're super happy because that money in their country translates to so much. It feeds their families. It means the world to them.
Yeah.
And for the most part, like, you know, they're so grateful. They work hard. You know, it's a beautiful thing because, you know, yes, you could say, well, let's keep the jobs in Australia. And you know what, kudos, yes, I agree. However, at the same time, if you're in a position where you can't afford to pay someone $100,000 a year to do X, you know, well, you're not really keeping the jobs in Australia anyway. You're trying to do it yourself. Secondly, you know, I really want to sort of express the fact that we are humanity. It doesn't matter where you live, what your skin color is, you know, what language you speak. We're all a part of one world. And to try and separate ourselves by countries, I think kind of misses the big point and the opportunity that life really, the life really offers for us.
Yeah.
So this is where you literally you can hire people to do all sorts of different things within your business, even, you know, customer service and whatnot. And I'm sure some of you are already familiar with, you know, Telstra and other, you know, other big companies outsourcing to India. Where, you know, you call up and you've got someone on the other line that drives you batty. This isn't that. You know, the truth of the matter is there's Philippines is brilliant. There's places in the world that will actually have heart, that will put a lot in, and they won't leave that bad taste in your mouth like you've probably experienced with other big companies outsourcing in the past.
Yeah.
So, continue your story with your journey.
Yeah, thank you. Just to add to that, for anyone listening and thinking, okay, cool, I've got a mortar brick store and I can't really outsource anything. And I'm going to challenge you on that because I believe anyone can outsource to the Philippines. Just think about those minor little tasks that annoy the shit out of you. For example, whether you have to do your admin stuff, or you have to pay your bills, or you need to simply send out reminder emails, or whatever it is, you need to do data entry.
Book flights, book accommodation.
Yeah. All of these things that take up time, that's stuck in the back of your head and constantly drives you nuts. You're like, shit, I should get to it. And those are the things that you can outsource. And so even for you having a modern brick store and you've got your staff in-house, there's still things that you can outsource. I was having this conversation with a very good friend and my previous employer, Michael, about he's got pizza shops. And even to him, I was mentioning these things that you can outsource. For example, training your staff up. You can create videos on how to make pizzas and how to train them on showing them how to make the pizzas. But actually putting that information online and transcribing it, get someone else to do that. So you're not stuck there learning about the techie things and editing and then uploading it and blah, blah, blah. Get someone else to do that. Your job is there to be a leader, to train people and to empower them so that they can go on to the next stage. So that's basically where I was at my journey, where I was reaching a point where growth was limited. I couldn't take on any more clients. And frankly, I couldn't service the clients at the best of my ability. I was a slave to my own business, and I wanted to get out. And so I reached out to a very good friend, and he shared with me exactly where he started looking for outsourcers. And he just took me through a bit of a strategy, and I want to share that with you guys. It has helped me so much. And like I said, I had those fears as well with who to trust, what happens if they rip me off, and if I can work with them or not, or whatever it is. I was so fortunate that the 2 interviews that I've had, I hired both of them on the spot. I've only ever had 2 interviews, and both of them were just a perfect match. And I was like, cool, I don't need to go further with this. So I think I saved myself a lot of headaches by doing this properly the first time, rather than just getting someone for the sake of getting someone, and then having to deal with the headaches later on with replacement and this and that. I mean, most of you would know the drill anyway by replacing staff that don't perform.
Yep, and please note, the fact that Quinton did just have 2 interviews and smashed them, this should be a little disclaimer. Warning, this is not common. Sometimes you do have to go through a few interviews, but if you don't know what you're looking for, what to ask, and how the pieces are designed to fit, ideally, to make sure that it's got the most hope to succeed, then you're going to be in trouble, and you're going to hire people and churn and burn all the time. So, unless I'm wrong here, Quinton, unless you've got a secret thing where you know how to attract someone first time interview, then yes, please prove me wrong.
So the website to go to, guys, is onlinejobs.ph. Now there's plenty of other places that you can go to, like Outdesk, and I don't even know the other ones. I never looked at them. The reason why I prefer onlinejobs.ph is that they don't actually take payment to pay the people submitting their resumes online. So they don't function as an agency. They allow people to post their jobs or post their resumes or apply for jobs, but all of the payment goes straight to the individual. So it really is, it's from the other ones that I've heard is they will take a certain cut and then they will pay the employees and so forth. And to me, it just didn't seem fair. So online jobs, I love them because they charge a membership for you to be able to contact them. So you can go and browse these people for free. The moment you want to contact them, then simply just pay the membership for online jobs itself. Go and speak to that person. If that person is a fit, then you delete your membership. So at the end of the day, there's no ongoing cost to be able to go and do your recruitment. So that's exactly what I've done. And I went searching for work for people with a certain skill, rather than putting up a job about the position that I'm hiring for. There's a reason why I've done that. I wanted the people that I wanted to hire, I was looking for a certain skill. So, for example, a Facebook expert. And I wanted to see how they would go about being a Facebook expert with understanding ads and marketing, how they would go about writing their resume, how they would talk about their job, rather than or talk about their experience and talk about their skills, rather than me posting a job and many people applying for it, because even if they're not a perfect match, they'll be like, yes, I can do it, I can make it happen. So I decided to go down that. However, you can do it however you want to do it. But
I like that though, because it is a different strategy, and perhaps potentially that's why you didn't have to go through countless interviews too.
Yeah.
So I like that. So instead, you went on and you sort of went, okay, I want someone who is XYZ, and you just went looking for XYZ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And it actually allows you to go and search for specific skills that you require, whether it's a certain tool to use or program to use or X amount of experience or background. So it's very specific, and that's cool. So I went to go ahead and I started looking through resumes, and one of the key things that popped up straight away is price. So everyone says their own price, from what they're willing to do the work for and for how many hours a week. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, if someone is exceptional at their job, they would charge a premium. That's just a given. And also thinking about negotiation, they will always start up higher. So then they will obviously negotiate and bring them down and so forth. So I started looking at price, and I compared the price that they were charging for what they were asking compared to the actual skills and what they were writing and what they were telling about themselves. And just from filtering through that, I guess that is where I saved a lot of the headaches. Rather than speaking to people on the phone, I simply just filtered through there, and I trusted my gut on a lot of these decisions, where I was looking for someone that showed some form of passion talking about the topic. And I got that with both of the people that I've hired. I just sensed, and this text is emotionless, but I could sense there was some form of passion around the resume that they've written. So I started looking at people at a mid-range price, not the most expensive, at a mid-range to a bottom one. And I was looking for someone specifically that didn't have a 10 out of 10 skill, but that was at a 6 or 7 that was willing to learn. Because they are people that will absorb a lot of information, and oftentimes they will let their ego go and just wanting to learn and serve. Because what we do is so specific, I wanted to teach them specific strategies and tools and give them access to specific trainings that we provide. And I wanted someone that is open with that, rather than already knowing everything and saying, no, this is the way to do it, and they just go with their own ways. So obviously, yeah.
I was going to say, I love that. So this is where, to me, when I speak about hiring staff with my clients, you know, it's funny how so often people want to go. Okay, I've got two names for these. There's the old dog or the excited puppy.
Yeah.
That's just how I've defined them. Now it's funny how so often we want to go after the old dog, meaning that we want the person who's super professional, been around for a long time, has all the all the ticks on the board, so to speak. The problem with that sometimes, though, is this, that the old dog, not always, but majority of old dogs within any industry are so fixed on the way they do stuff.
Yeah.
They're not willing to actually adapt and become a part of your team, and do things the way you want to do them, because they've got all this stuff that they've been doing for so long, and the whole teaching an old dog new tricks thing. That sometimes you're actually better off getting a young puppy. Why? The old dog is usually at a point in their career that they're awesome at what they do, but they've lost a level of passion. They've lost a level of excitement, because they've gotten to a level that's so high, there's really not a great deal to look forward to for them anymore. Whereas the young puppy, they are just, guns blazing passionate. It's a pleasure to work with them. They soak things up like a sponge, and they're so they're excited for the opportunity to be a part of something and grow within something. So it's important to sort of identify. I love that you did this, Quinton. Do I want an old dog or do I want a young puppy, and why?
Yeah.
And it's really, really important. So I love that you actually didn't go total high ticket, because sometimes, majority of the old dogs are hanging out in the pool where they are charging the high fees because they've been around for a long time, they've got the runs on the board, and they can. So this is where I love that your strategy naturally took you to the medium range and slightly lower where the puppies are hanging out.
Yeah, you're so right. I love it. Puppies and old dogs. And yeah, that was exactly why I've done it, because I've learned through studies and so forth, and reading these books about great cultures, to hire based on culture. And we weren't at a position where we were operating at a corporate level. So we were still at a very infant stage as well, where we have to learn when these challenges that come up and build the systems along the way. So I wanted someone that can actually be part of that journey and wanting to be part of it. So after a long time, filtering through this, I started to reach out to Paul first, Legend Paul. And going through with that process.
Hold on, side note, a bit of context. So moving forward, Quinton now has a team. We're going to come back to this story.
Yeah.
But Quinton's guys, they call each other legends. So his whole staff is the legends. And they literally call each other Legend Quinton. And I love it. It's so daggy and so beautiful.
But it's part of their culture. It is.
Yeah.
When you work with these people, they are so grateful, and it's part of their culture to address you with either sir or man. And when we first got started with working together, especially with Paul, there was a time where he mentioned sir with everything, and it was Sir Quinn and Sir Quinton, and it's flattering, and really it satisfies your significance level. Like, holy crap, I got knighted. But at the end of the day, it was just their way of communicating, and I kind of felt that it was still creating distance between us.
Yep.
And it wasn't until Michael came on board and a few weeks later and so forth that I actually sat down and I spoke with him. I go, guys, the way that I've been introducing, sorry, one moment. The way that I've been introducing you guys to others is legends. That you guys are legends because that's what you are. You basically deliver a legendary work. You guys bring this agency to life. So I've got a proposition here. What if from now on we all address each other as legends? So there's no more sir. There's no more anything. It is just legends. And from now on, we are the team of legends. And when we look for future recruitments, we won't be looking at recruiting someone that can do video editing or someone that's an expert in copywriting or an expert in admin or this or that. We want to recruit legends.
Love it.
And that is that. And the moment they heard that, oh, you should have heard it, Gabby. It was just incredible. Like it was. They both felt so empowered and like, yeah, this is awesome. And their brains started ticking and things started firing off. So from then onwards.
This is the thing, though. This is culture. This is exactly what having a big why in your business, creating an environment, a culture. This is what I love about business. I friggin' find business so sexy because you can literally, create your own little country, your own little world within a world. And that to me is business culture. It's that kind of stuff that has your staff want to stay with you if they resonate with it. So, these guys are like, oh, I love this. We're legends at work. How much more sexier is that than just going to work and someone says, hey, Gabby, hey, George, Whereas if I rock up to work and it's like, hey, legend, I'm like, hey, legend, it ups the experience. We spend a lot of time in our life working, and I'm not, obviously, like as business owners, you want to get staff on board. These people are going to be spending, giving you, like donating, being a big part of their friggin' life. And I think it's our responsibility as business owners to take that and give them the most awesome experience. Create a little world within a world that is more exciting sometimes for them than their actual day-to-day life, versus them wishing for Friday. Versus them dreading Monday. Imagine if that changes, and it does when you have a killer culture, that all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's Friday. Woohoo, it's Monday, you know.
Yeah.
And so well done, honestly, well done.
Thank you.
Side venture, just bring it back. So step one, you said, was, there's this cool website you can check out, which is called
onlinejobs.ph.
Step two, you actually looked for the skills and the passion. So you're looking for someone who's got the skill that you're looking for, but also someone that seems to speak about what they do with passion, which means they're going to be excited to do this within your business, yeah?
Yeah.
And then number three, you started saying that then you attracted Mike and you had...
Paul first.
Paul, sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies. Paul first. Go.
Yeah, so on another side note with the whole legend thing, in the beginning it was so weird that they were calling me Sir Legend Quinton. But eventually we got over the whole sir part. Whenever they said sir, I just question marked it, and then they go legend. And I totally am so grateful for having these legends. So moving forward,
They're going to be listening to this, laughing their little heads off.
totally. So I decided to schedule a meeting with Paul, and so grateful with his response and everything. Guys, when I was looking for passion happens through storytelling. It doesn't just happen with having a resume that is just bang, 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 dot points and skills and this and that. Someone that can actually tell a story and get some emotion through there, that is one of the key things that I was looking for. And that's what I felt with both of them. So I started talking to Paul, and I have not structured anything with the interview. It was simply having a conversation, and this was the strategy that was passed down by me, to scrap any of the formalities and really just go and have a conversation with them and really get to know them. So I'm sitting there with my singlet on and hair's all messy and just casual, and Paul comes on and we're having this cool conversation, and it's really just getting to know them. And I kind of thought about it afterwards that it wasn't that for them to sell themselves to me, it was for me to sell myself to them. And I had to prove myself to them to get them on board, to get them inspired to come on. I mean, if it's the other way around, then it just kind of feels wrong. Then there's always that power struggle. But I wanted to sell myself to Paul, and for him to then be like, yes, I'm on board or not. And whatever he then said would have been fine. And lucky he said yes, and I'm so grateful for it. Because as we started talking, it was real conversation, transparent conversation, where even around money, it was talking about breaking it down so to the bare bone, where it is, how much are you currently earning? What are you making at this point in time? From what sources? And then going it forward from, what do you want to be making? What do you want to be making eventually? And then we just broke it down from where they are right now to what do you need to survive? What is it, the bare minimum that you need to survive? And they obviously give that number. And having in mind what they're currently asking for online, then you simply, like, that's all within the price range. So therefore I've spoken with them. Having that in mind, I just simply threw back the question: if I was to give you what you're asking for, which was more than what they've needed, would this mean that you're comfortable? Would this mean that you are satisfied? Would this mean that it changes your world? What would this actually mean to you? And to give you guys some insight, my cause is to inspire and empower people and their capabilities to change the world, to achieve their dreams. But at the agency, we believe that inspiring stories can change the world. So we have to start from our own culture. We have to start changing their worlds, because getting them on board changes my world. Getting them on board changes their world. Therefore, we can change our clients' worlds.
Love that. That is so freaking sexy.
Thank you. This is actually the first time I'm sharing it with an audience. So.
Not scripted.
Not scripted.
Beautiful.
So yeah, having that conversation and then hearing what they are saying by asking, how will this change your world? And then really just hearing where they're coming from. What is their heart space saying? And you can tell when someone is phony. You can tell when someone is just making things up by actually asking the right questions and noticing their tonality and so forth. And I just felt the genuinity from both of these legends, where it was just their worlds are about to change. If they come on, their worlds are going to change, and they're going to change my world. So I want to do it for them first. And this leads me into my second part, where the money side of things, we never negotiate it. These guys believe that they are worth something. That's why they've advertised it for that price. And they obviously put it up there for a reason, that this is what they would want to be earning to be able to do certain things in their lifestyle. So I'm obviously just going to go against that. I'm not going to rob them from what they are worth. I'm not going to go and challenge their thinking and putting them on a trial and this and that. These guys are prepared to sacrifice 40 hours a week, if not more, to help grow the agency. Why the hell would I go and rob them from it and give them even less than what they're currently asking for?
Love that, honestly.
From in Australia, we are charging our clients Australian dollars and we are paying them pesos. Like, holy crap, we just got to be fair here and really and live up to it. So that was one of my key things. I don't want to negotiate on price. It was you are worth it, and I will give it to you if I believe you're worth it as well. And we then deliver on that.
Funny, one of my many mentors in business, great advice. This is gold, guys. Listen to this. What Quinton's sharing with you is pure gold. One of the worst things you can do in business is try and cut costs on your staff, on your team, because these people are what make up your whole business. As opposed to seeing them as an employee, air quotes, as opposed to seeing them as an employee, that seeing them as a foreign thing that's like, a wheel on your car, but not the car itself. I tell you what, when you actually, invest time and money and love into your staff, epic things happen. And paying people above average is actually one of the ways to go. Why do I say this? Because if they're great and they're a fit for your culture, they love everything that you're doing in business, they deserve to be paid well. They're going to be doing an exceptional job. And the worst thing you can do is try and find the cheapest, the ones at the bottom of the barrel, because usually those guys are shit, quite frankly. They're a pain in the ass. They come with the price tag. It's like anything in life, I think. If you want high quality clothing, it costs a bit more. But why? The fabrics, the cut, everything about it is just so much better. Of course, you can go buy yourself a T-shirt for $5, but usually what happens to that T-shirt after 5 washes? It's not a good long-term investment. Same with your staff. So I love that you're saying this, because you should want to reward your staff. You should actually you shouldn't be wanting to skim on them. You should be respecting them. So love it. Gold bit of information.
Yeah, thank you. And from that point onwards, then you're pretty clear if you want to work with this person or not. Knowing them, knowing their humor, knowing their why. See, I started asking their why as well, and getting in line with that. You then have a pretty clear understanding if they are a match, and only if they are a match would you go forward to the next step. It's the same as getting clients on board. You wouldn't just get a client on board for the sake of getting a client. You only work with the best people. I'd like to be around people that share the same humor and can laugh about the similar stuff. So that's one of the characteristics I'm looking for in my clients as well. Moving forward with that, ching ching.
Ching ching. I'll drink to that.
So the next stage was obviously, cool, when can we get started? And both of these conversations happened on the Friday, and I wanted to get started with them on the Monday. And one of the terms and conditions or disclaimers being put up on online jobs is don't pay workers in advance unless they've worked for you for months and there's a trusted relationship. And guys, take them on that advice, but only do what I'm about to tell you if this is congruent with your beliefs as well. So the way that we work at the agency is we ask our clients to pay a month up front. And the way that I want to do it with my work is, instead of what everyone else is doing, paying their employees, paying their staff, after they've done the work, a week later or fortnight or per month, after they've done work, and then calculate all these sick days and this and that, and then, okay, you're only worth this amount, so that's what you're going to be paid. I wanted to do something different, because if I'm getting these people on board, I wanted to create a change immediately. I wanted to make a difference to them immediately. And it just made sense to me, where I'm charging my clients up front. Why can't I give these guys up front? Why can't I give them something up front per week that basically already pays for the rest of the week? And let's see how that goes. I just want to put it on test drive and see how that worked out. And so far, it's been freaking phenomenal. These guys, these legends, they deliver, and they work hard. And they work hard on the weekends as well, without me even asking. We've got a Facebook group, and they're constantly putting things up there, and they're engaging, and they're checking up on things, and they're monitoring stuff, and they're learning things. And that's out of their own free will, because I've paid them not only for the week ahead, but it's also they want to learn, they want to grow. And I think that makes the biggest difference.
There is more to it. So you've stumbled onto something pretty awesome. And look, honestly, this isn't a fit for every business. So listeners, this really isn't a fit for every business. There are certain businesses it's definitely a fit for. And it does work if you've got the right people inside your team. So obviously, if you're outsourcing to the Philippines, where it's highly likely these people are probably pretty strapped for cash before they come work with you.
Yeah.
One of the greatest gifts. It's a completely different culture. They think differently anyway. Very different if you're outsourcing to India, or there's different.
Yeah.
There's differences in culture everywhere. What I'm trying to say here is this, though. That if it's the right team, and this is literally someone who loves what they do, who's bought into your mission, who is like on board and excited, they're actually going, I can't believe I attracted this job with this person doing what I love, and then that person paid me up front so I could actually go and buy food for my family and get on top of bills and all of that kind of stuff. Do you know what that does?
Yeah.
That locks loyalty and love, and it works wonders.
Yeah,
for the
vibration
psyche.
changes. Their vibrations
Massively.
shoot
Yep.
up.
This is where you want to sort of understand that you don't want to come from a place of scarcity. You don't think the worst. In growing a business, you want to build a little family, and you want to do it with love. To me, one of my greatest messages that I've been drumming for quite some time is that I believe we need to add love to business. When you add love to business, love your clients, love your market, love your staff, when you actually add love, beautiful things happen. It brings out the best in people, because you're the who you are when you install love into your business honestly brings out the best in your staff. They won't take days off just for the sake of it. One of my staff members, I crack up. Probably should. I'm just going to share it. She actually she got pulled over by police people driving home late one night, and she was a little bit over. Don't get me wrong, she got away with it, all good, it all worked out well. But unfortunately, she had to go in the back of a divvy van, and all she's thinking in the back of the divvy van is, oh shit, how am I going to freaking go to work tomorrow? Gabby's going to be so disappointed. And after I think 1 or 2 hours sleep, and once again, like I said, it turned out fine. They wait a little bit, and anyway, everything worked out fine. But the point I'm trying to make is, this is a situation where she's up all night. She's had a pretty crappy thing happen, and all she's thinking is, I don't want to let Gabby down. Oh my God, I can't do it. And gets herself up after 1 to 2 hours sleep, drives to the office, and just to show up, just to not let me down. This is the kind of stuff that happens when you actually love your staff. Would you agree with that, Quinton?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful.
Yep. Or, there's other situations where this happens all the time. I laugh. I remember my parents were the working class, and every time, no shit, it was funny. So I think in May, Mum would get all her sick days. I think she used to get 8 sick days a year or something like that. In May, no shit, every May she gets her sick days. By the end of May, guess what? There's not a single sick day left. That's because she worked because she had to. She worked because she had to do that. And this is, to me, I stand for creating business owners that install love, because one thing that absolutely friggin' shocks me, statistic, don't know how accurate it is, but being told it's pretty accurate, is that 95% of the people on this planet hate their jobs or don't like what they do. They either love what they do and hate where they work, or both. And to me, when I heard that, I made my mission, to completely smash that out of the ballpark. And the way we do that is with you. You have the power to have this world be a much more epic place by the way you treat your staff.
Yeah.
And what Quinton's doing right now is an example of that. His team that's growing and building, even if they got it, I guarantee you, even if they got an opportunity to work for somebody else who was willing to pay them a little bit more, they would hesitate tremendously and most likely say no, because the pull to stay with Quinton would be so much greater. Because what we're searching for in our careers as employees, well, not that I am one, but what employees are actually looking for at core is so much more than just the money.
Yeah.
They just don't know. They're looking for it because these conversations aren't being had. that it seems like utopia to work at a place where you're respected, where you're loved,
Yeah.
where, where if there's so for example, with me, if I've got like exceptional months, I share that with my staff. I do like, here's extra presents. I do cool stuff. Why do I do that? Because I want to include them in the celebration of that.
Yes.
Now, of course, you could sit there and put your little accountant's face on and go, well, that's just silly. But it's not, because who comes out of them is someone who's so much more proactive, productive, who gets even better results, who grows the business, and the revenue increases because of the mindset, because of the fact that they love what they do, they love being around you, and they actually want to make you proud.
Yeah.
They do. It's like this, little puppy. They just want you to love them and be proud of them. The more you give, the more you'll get back.
Yeah, 100%. And guys, even with outsourcing to the Philippines, I wanted to make a difference in their world. So for me, making decisions around that is pretty clear. Whenever I'm questioning something that I'm doing, I just fall back on how can I change their worlds? And then the answer becomes very clear. So for me, the strategy just made sense to pay them up front. And I remember my partner, she questioned me on it. She questioned on, but what if there's a regular fear that we all have? It is, what if they rip you off? What if they scam us? What if this, what if that? Guys, at the end of the day, it's a week's worth of pay up front. It's not a shitloads of money. And I've got full trust and belief in the people that I speak to, have heart, and you can pick out the phonies. Even if they are amazing con artists, eventually they drop the game.
And do you know what's even better? This is the gold, and I love what you're doing, because get this, right? So yes, you could go, well, I'm just going to pay you, like if this model applies to you, and it could actually be something you could implement.
I think for VAs,
VAs
it
definitely
applies. Yeah,
definitely applies. Yeah, and for some of you, it could apply for your staff as well. But even thinking of other ways you can show your love, right? So just consider this is more of a metaphor for love than it is the specific thing itself.
Yeah.
This is what's powerful about it. That, you know what? It's a week's pay. If they don't prove themselves in that week, guess what? You've just saved yourself so much time, because you then know they're not right for you. Whereas if you hadn't have done it, if you hadn't have given the love, you wouldn't have seen who they really are. Make sense?
Yes.
So they're either going to show up as the right fit or not. Zappos, if you're familiar with them, they're a huge frigging company selling online shoes. Look into the owner. Pretty epic. What they do, I don't know if they still do it, but this is what they used to do. Whenever they hired new staff, they'd actually have them work there, and after a month of working there, Quinton, they would offer them $2,000 or $3,000 to quit. They go, okay.
Wow.
No shit. I can't remember if it's 2 or 3K. So literally it'd be like, okay, well, if you like it here, we're pretty happy. You can stay on. Otherwise, if you're not 100% happy, we're going to offer you $3,000 right now, cold hard, tax-free cash, and you're welcome to leave. And that's how they would filter out who is a fit.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Now this is where, Zappos is, oh, hello. Good, just like walking around doing stuff. Zappos, it's really cool when you actually go behind the scenes of their business. They've got different departments. When you go there, you actually get to decorate your own section. So I'm not going to lie to you. For a visual like me, it's pretty chaotic and messy. It's not picture perfect. But they've got their own, they get to bring their own personality in and decorate their office space.
Yeah.
And it's pretty out there decorated. But yeah, moving back though, why do they do this? Why would they take someone on and then offer someone, we're talking loss. In the first month, it's really rare to really get a return on investment in your employee, depending on what the job is in the first month.
Yeah.
Because there's training, you're putting in a lot to build this person up. And then, so you've paid them a wage, you put all this training in, and then to offer them 3K cold hard cash, you sort of go, well, that's just dumb. No, it's not. Zappos has grown to a friggin' extremely successful company. Why? Because of its people.
Yes.
Because they've created great culture, because the people that work there go above and beyond. They love what they do. They love the business, and they chose to stay there. And think about how it plays out too. Same with what Quinton's doing. Here's some money. You could run. If you choose to stay, and excel, that tells me you're here for more than just the money. You're here because you believe in what we do.
Yeah.
You're a part of this. This is a part of who you are. And that's how you create epic leverage teams.
Yeah.
So
it makes me think about how a lot of people are focused on the experience of the customer, and they think about how their business is represented and really wowing that client. But they often forget about the actual people that make that happen. What about the experience of those people working for you? What about their recruitment experience? Was it a horrible one? Was it an amazing one? What was their experience to your business? How can you improve your staff's experience each and every day for them to improve the client's experience? And I mean, it's one of my other clients that I work with. I mentioned to him as a suggestion, put a percentage of your weekly turnover or monthly turnover, put that into a staff wow budget. And every month you can wow someone out of your staff, and it's not a lot. I mean, it doesn't take a lot. If you know someone loves Taylor Swift, to go and buy the Taylor Swift album and say, thank you for doing an awesome job. Here's the new album. Or if you know someone loves reading a certain book, go and buy them the book and write a little thank you note. And this doesn't cost you any money. And if you've prepared this well, this will actually cover your staff parties. And on another note, with that staff parties being part of the whole employment force when I started working, something that really bugs me is staff parties. It happens once a year. What the hell, guys? Why once a year? Why not make it happen quarterly? Why not make it happen more often? I mean, if people are looking forward to that staff party of your business for that one particular day, it's like Christmas. Then you have to wait another whole year for the next time. Why not make it a reoccurrence? And you do this by planning with your own money first. Planning your budget on what you're putting aside for marketing, what you're putting aside for this and for that, and put a little pocket aside for staff wowing, and deliver on that. I mean,
love that.
A card isn't much. It's $2 to buy a card and handwrite it.
Or taking someone out for coffee or lunch, whatever.
Yes.
It's also knowing your staff too, because some of your staff are going to be quite extroverted and want to party. Other parts of your staff are more introverted and want more intimacy. So does that make sense? If you've got a culture filled with people that are like quite social and love to drink and have fun, then yes, parties are great. If you've got a lot of staff that are more introverted, don't really like people, prefer animals, take them out, for a nice lunch, but shout them to a beautiful lunch somewhere like 5-star restaurant, like really treat them, wow them, woo them.
Yeah.
So this is where it backs on to what we spoke about, I think, in episode 1, when we spoke about the different levels to marketing, the different levels to running a business altogether.
Yeah, the 4 levels, yeah.
That's right. Well, no, it's actually the one where we spoke about, the 3 different types of business owner. The number one being the business owner that just wants to get you as a client.
Yeah.
And then a level 2, they just want to get you as a client, but then they do some, cool stuff to keep you and like love you after they, get the money. And level 3 was, loving your market, actually doing something for your market, the ones that haven't even spent anything with you yet, showing love to the market. Then when they become your client, respecting that and then loving them after as well. Same with employees and your staff. Be thoughtful before you hire them, like what Quinton did. It's like, what? Screw this. I'm not going to have you sing and dance. Let's see if you buy into my mission first. Let me tell you what I'm about, and let's see if that lights you up. And if I'm someone worthy of you giving your heart and soul to, if my mission, my vision is something worthy of you, and 2, then it's keep loving them after they're there. Just because they're with you doesn't mean you stop putting the effort in. This is what kills so many love relationships. Great during the honeymoon period, but once that ring comes on, it's all dirty socks and dishes and dirty dishes on the coffee table.
Good analogy.
This is where it is. It's love your market, love your clients, maintain the love and wow your clients ongoingly. Same with staff. Keep thinking, how can I make you feel appreciated? And take the effort to do that. And that's where you create epic teams that, there's a difference between having staff and having staff.
Yeah.
You know, if you just have standard staff, guess what? You go on holiday and these fuckers, pardon the French, will take days off. Here you are, you've got no one to fill in. You're in, you know, I don't know, Jamaica, you know, drinking your cocktail, and all of a sudden you find out that half your staff's taken the day off.
Yeah.
This is where, you know, if you can't rely on them, there's no freedom in that, because you're constantly having to change your plans and fill in when they decide it's May and I'm going to take all my sickies in 1 month. The vice versa, though, you know, if you've got the right staff, guess what? If they know that you're away, that you can't fill in, they go above and beyond. You know, they'll actually, they go to the extremes of looking after your business like it's theirs.
Yeah.
And that's where the epic happens.
Yeah, 100% agree. Couldn't have said it any better. It really takes someone to understand other humans. And the moment you tap into that, you need to apply it to everyone, not just those that you choose. Really start practicing it at home, like to your partner, to your friends. Start making them feel special on more than just a beyond and above. Like really go the extra mile, and then start noticing it being returned to you. I think that basically wraps up the entire strategy regarding getting people in, looking after them, and allowing them to grow and to deliver to your clients.
Yep. And honestly, it's you know, it's so important that you get that your ideal staff member should grow with you. Invest in their education, invest in their personal growth, you know, invest in their skills growth, invest in them. They're a little investment for you. If you do this right, beautiful things happen. If you do it wrong, you're constantly on the staff roller coaster going, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, I figured this whole, you know, having your own business thing sucks. It's not that it sucks, it's just your strategy sucks.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's key. It's the leader itself, and it stems from the top. I mean, if they're not performing well, especially VAs, if they're not doing the task that you want them to do, then you failed at training them up to get to that point. And this is what I've spent so much time in with these legends is, here's the access, here's the training resources. What are you committing to learn? And really put the accountability onto them. And just have a bit of a conversation around what they're learning, because you would know the next steps, but what are they actually coming up with? And that is how you know if they are applying the right things, if they're learning the right things. And that is how you can put your trust into them rather than having to micromanage, having to check up on them the whole time.
Yep, love it, honestly. So just to recap, before we sign off, you know, number one is know what you're looking for and look for skills, but look for someone who is actually passionate about doing the job and is open to growth.
Yep.
Number two is sell them on your why. You know, actually have a talk about, hey, you know what, this is why I created this business. I want to blah, 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 blah. Is that, and then ask them, is that an environment that you think you would be happy in? Now, this is where you want to listen. What's their reaction? The ones that are a perfect fit are going to light up when they hear you talk about your mission, and just you'll see like a complete change in the color of their skin and their physiology. All of it will just light up. The ones that aren't going to, the ones that listen to your why and are like, oh yeah, that sounds really good. I'm telling you right now, end the interview. You know, because they're not a fit for your culture. Yeah. And it's the killer tip, Quinton. Like I reckon, you know, let's give Quinton a bit of a woohoo clap. Then after that, if they've passed the why test, you know, and they're in, then make sure that you give them love, that you support them, that, you know, that you see the greatness in them and have them step up to greatness and continue wowing them and loving them after the ring's on.
Yes.
And that sums up beautifully. In saying that, though, you know, here's the prerequisites. You need a big why. You know, if you're listening to this and you haven't actually sat down and worked out your why for business, that's so sexy, that, you know, lights up your heart and so much more than money, then this strategy won't work. In order for you to have this, you first need to have an epic why, a reason for being in business that's greater than yourself. Yep. And we covered this in episode, I'm going to say, I don't know, 7 or 8.
I think it was 8, yeah. Start with why.
I think, yeah. So one of them in the last few episodes, check them out. There'll be the word why in the title. You can't go wrong. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, guys. It's been a pleasure. And I know, Quinton, you're a rock star. Legendary tips.
Thank you.
Absolutely rocking. And
It has been amazing having this conversation. Thank you for allowing me to share this with our amazing audience. And guys,
allowing you, like I had to say.
Well, guys, you have been rock stars. You have been listening very well. Amazing listening skills.
I know, they're so good.
Guys, if you've enjoyed this episode as well, please comment, in the comment section down below and share it. Share the love with, most of us are employers, but we also know people who are employees and people who are employers in other areas. Share it with them. Make a difference in this world. Start with yourself.
Yep, thank you. And we would really appreciate if you help us spread the love. So big hug. And chat to you next time.
Chat to you next time, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Marketing with Vino. If you enjoyed this episode and want to access the resources discussed in this episode, go to marketingwithvino.com and select which episode you've listened to.